All right. Looks like we have resolved all of our previous week's issues here. We're live, and you guys actually got to see the intro. So, good morning. Welcome to another episode of How I Met Your Mortgage. Adam Smith, Just the Tips Coaching, as always. With me, although from her home location, is Jen Wayboer, our marketing director. And from, I assume, sunny California, a repeat guest of ours, Lindsay Sills. Good morning, Lindsay.
Good morning.
So, for those of you watching, you should probably be forewarned. Good morning, Jason. You should probably be forewarned that Lindsay and Jen and I are good friends. Lindsay and I do our mortgage practices in a very similar manner, even right down to the fact that we are the core finance group, Colorado Real Estate. Lindsay owns the Care Finance Group, California Real Estate. So we do a lot of things in a similar manner. We probably talk once a week and bounce ideas off of each other, and we really try to help propel each other in lead gen activities and business activities and all kinds of other stuff. So we are good friends. I know her well. Her significant other, can we call Brady your husband yet?
I mean, you can. I mean, it's not official,
All
but
right. We're big fans of her son Nolan. He's just one of the most adorable babies we know. And yeah, as you guys are rolling in, Lindsay, why don't you tell us a little bit about you?
about me.
About
You
all, well, tell us all about you.
you said
Height,
all the important
weight.
things.
No, I'm kidding.
No, you said all the important stuff. Nolan, Brady.
This is pretty much why we like you. We like Nolan.
That was the important thing. So Care Finance Group, yes. Core Care, very similar. So we are a branch in Folsom, California. Do lots of mortgages. We have a great team. It's been an interesting thing to build a team over the last year. It was a solo, shop. I mean, Brady, if he heard me say that, he'd probably be like, whoa, what am I, chopped liver? But running the solo shop for a long time, it's been great to build this team over the last year. I want to say that, doing mortgages with a team is so much easier than doing it by yourself.
Yes.
Um,
Well,
but
tell us about that because it's probably been a year since you've been on the show.
yeah,
So, what kind of growth have you developed? At the time, it was probably you and then Brady kind of doing your marketing and telling bad jokes.
yes, yeah. So yeah, it was started with Brady, with me and Brady doing bad jokes and doing all of our marketing. So all of our forward-facing, Facebook ads, anything basically. Um, and now we are four people plus me and Brady. So five people, two processors, a loan officer assistant, an accountant, and a marketing person who does all of our event planning and forward facing client marketing. Doesn't manage our social media. We do have a part-time media person doing that as well. So yeah, we've definitely grown the team, assigned tasks, and we're really focusing this year 2020 is client experience. What's the client's overall experience? How do they feel with each part of the process? So really honing in on that. But it's been a huge change for the positive.
Okay. And you're still the only originator.
Yes.
Okay. Any thoughts on changing that down the road?
No.
Okay. And
um,
believe me, I understand there's a big hang up for me as well, and we've been doing it this way a long time, barring one new loan originator in our office as of last October.
I've shot around this idea. We run very similar, you and I. So I've kind of shot around the idea of having another originator. I think the key for me is going to be to find someone who fits into our culture, who fits into our group. If I find the right person, then yes, I would totally consider bringing on another person and even helping them grow their business. We've, grown this business completely from self-sourced lead gen. Um, we don't rely on agent referrals. So we do a lot of consumer direct marketing. While agent referrals are fantastic and I have fantastic real estate agent partners, we do a ton of consumer-based marketing. But yeah, I'd consider bringing on a loan officer. So,
And you think that culture piece of it is important, huh?
So important. It's the only thing that matters when you have a team and we all work together. Really. You gotta like each other.
Interesting. Our Jen and I are laughing about this, and I don't know if you're laughing along with us because my article on hiring for your company's culture was just published in National Mortgage Professional.
It was.
Okay, you saw that. Okay. All right. So we are all joking together. All right, let's digress a little bit here because obviously, one, it's been a long time since you've been on the show. And two, we're certainly off track because we all know each other so well. Hey, good morning, Randall. Good to see you in virtual existence here. So our normal MO, of course, would be to let our guests give us a little bit of background on how they got into the business. And I don't know that a lot of people know that about you.
Goodness. I mean, I was born, and then I started doing mortgages.
Okay. Kind of a boss baby sort of thing.
Basically.
Got it.
Basically, that's what happened. So, how did I get, wow, you're taking it back so long ago. Where do I begin? Well, seriously, from the time I was a little kid, my grandma kind of pushed me into finance. She was always talking to me about real estate, about investing, about Wall Street, she was incredibly savvy. So I knew from a pretty young age that I wanted to go into some type of real estate. And I bought my first house when I was 18, and that solidified it. It was done from there, and I've never done anything else. I've worked in every different aspect of mortgage, but it's always been mortgage.
What does that mean? What other roles have you had?
I mean, at 18, I started out as a receptionist, and then moved to, an assistant, and then moved into processing. I spent a ton of time in processing and managing processors, so managing that whole back end, then office management, running entire mortgage companies, from compliance to payroll to getting into the deals again on the processing side, to the loan origination side, everything. And then I found myself doing the same thing, running a company, but as an originator, as my own.
And from that perspective, you've actually seen a lot of different angles. You've been with a couple of retail operations, some big. Obviously, you've been on the wholesale side, doing it just you and Brady. And again, I'm just giving Brady a little bit of credit because it was really just you, and we know it. But I think at the time Brady was pregnant with Nolan, so it's fine.
Yeah, he
right.
was. So he took some time off.
So you've seen the entire gamut of what goes on in the mortgage process over a good number of years from a number of different perspectives, not just your job role, but certainly from different company roles as well. Having a retail branch, being your sole operation as an LO broker. Give us some insight as to why you've landed where you've landed and why it's of such benefit to you, your referral partner relationships, the consumer, your clients. Why is this the end of that line?
That's a big question. That's my calendar just reminding me that we have a call.
Oh, good. Here we are.
Yeah, here we are.
Only 10 minutes late. Fantastic.
That's a big question. And I mean, the retail thing, let's talk about that really fast. I started in broker. I went retail for a split second, and then I came right back to being broker.
Okay.
It took all of 28 days, kind of like that horror movie, 28 days. Took all of 28 days for me to realize that the broker world, for me, in my opinion, is by far the superior mortgage outlet as an originator.
Okay. Well, there's got to be some reasons for that would be generally accepted and not just your opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's the good old, we get to shop around as a broker. I get to shop around with 30 different investors, whereas a retail branch, they don't. They've got one set of rate sheets and that's it.
Right.
That's where, it falls.
Okay, so wider options, more potential mortgage products. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. the biggest reason for me. For me,
Well, that's got to drive some competitiveness, which is why the broker channel indubitably has lower rates and costs.
Mhm. It
Okay.
does, indeed. I mean, bring me a loan estimate. We'll match them or beat them every time,
Yeah.
and it's usually not difficult. It's usually a shock. You're like, look at a loan estimate from a retail branch, not to jump down retail's throat, but I'm like, wow, our rates are, a quarter better, or whatever they are. But it's usually not difficult to meet or beat them. It's not something that.
Well, and don't get me wrong, I don't think that necessarily from an originator perspective that the broker channel is end all be all for everybody. And I do get this question a lot from coaching clients and students and so on and so forth about where they should be in the origination world. And I can't answer it. I've either been a broker or a broker owner my entire career. I've never seen the retail side of it. I've seen some correspondent side. So I can't answer their questions. I can't give the audience, this audience or those individuals, feedback as to which one is better from an individual perspective, a business perspective, et cetera, because I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know enough about the retail model to answer that question. Obviously, it's still the majority of what goes on in origination. And when there are companies out there, that are, I don't want to really say competing because that's certainly not what we're describing here when it comes to rate and cost, but competing on a large scale market, mostly with marketing dollars, like Quicken is a great example, particularly after yesterday's Momoa commercial. I think that there's a lot to be said for what these companies have to do in order to fund a lot of middle management, in order to fund big advertising budgets. We obviously all know that money's getting collected from somewhere. And for years and years, there was this gap between cost and rate in retail versus wholesale, like you'd expect in any industry, retail versus wholesale. And I think as time has gone on and that marketing piece has become so big and the tech piece has become so big, these are obviously very expensive things. While there's been some market compression in recent years where fewer loans are just being written coast to coast, that the compensatory factor is that these retailers that have to pay those bills aren't following suit with the fact that mortgage rates, well, hit an all-time low last week. And in the broker channel, we get to reflect that just about exactly as it reads. Mortgage rates are the lowest they've been. The mortgage-backed securities market's the highest it's ever been. We get to translate that almost identically to what we're able to provide clients in a wholesale mortgage world, and the retailers don't. So that gap has now just become a chasm. So yeah, I'll bet if you're looking at an LE when it came from Quicken or Wells Fargo, Chase, Bank of America, or a number of other retail mortgage models that don't necessarily do depository business, don't do credit cards, checking accounts, car loans, savings accounts, ATMs, on, that you're not struggling to be more competitive when it comes to the financial aspect, what's actually best for your clients' dollars.
I think you said that perfectly. And I also think we have a benefit in our speed, how fast we can close too, especially compared to some of the people that you just mentioned, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Chase, in that realm, they're quoting 40 to 60 days in closing times because their process is so riddled with middle steps. Like, oh, it has to go from this to this, to this, or we're cutting some of that out. We're able to close in certain situations in 10 days or 14 days where they're not. So in a competitive market, which I'm in the Sacramento area, with very low inventory and buyers out there scraping every single, just grabbing at every single house that's on the market, when we can say, hey, we can close in 14 days, that's a huge, huge benefit to our buyers out there in this crazy market.
Same. And I think we had the discussion about the fact that the Sacramento market and the Denver market are experiencing similar competitiveness,
Yes.
that the numbers scale appropriately. No question. So, Randall, I see your comment. I'm not ignoring you. Randall's an old fraternity brother, and coincidentally in Austin, which we're all going to invade here in a couple of weeks, maybe a few weeks. Randall says that he loves being a retailer after being on the wholesale side. So obviously it's not just a matter of, what's going on in the arena when it comes to time frames and rates and costs and so on and so forth. And if memory serves, Randall's not doing depository institution type work, that he's working for a company that's strictly mortgage stuff. But Randall, please do comment and we'll continue that discussion some more. And yes, hello, David. Good to see you this morning. And yes, we'll see David in a couple of few weeks here as well. So, Lindsay, let's get on track with our usual audience here. Tell us about CARES marketing. I know there's some things that Jen specifically had brought up before we went live, but I really want you to give some good insight as to what CARE is doing in that consumer direct mentality to generate leads, more clients, more closings, more transactions for your operation.
Who's our usual audience? I thought this was just like us, just shooting,
No, it's mostly people who have large scale direct to consumer type of stuff, loan originators, real estate agents. Certainly some of our private audience gets in on it. I see Andy. Good morning, Andy. I see Liz is watching. She's watching from the library. She took Asher over there this morning. And then obviously a lot of our normal, how do I put this? Miscreants, David Ryder, Ashley Miller. Hello, Ashley. Good morning.
Oh, hey, Ashley.
Yeah. So yeah, but typically the audience is originators, real estate agents, insurance agents, financial planners, people that have large ticket items, direct to consumer gigs where lead generation is a crux.
Okay, cool. Good to know before I dive into marketing, so I know how to exactly explain it, so that I'm not only talking to mortgage people. So it's good to know the audience. Okay, so marketing. We have three basic, I'm going to kind of look at my paper because when I talk about this, I have to write it down. We have three basic realms of marketing. We have Facebook, Google, and referral or our sphere.
Okay, that's huge. That two of those are web-based platforms all by itself is huge. Yeah. Go, continue, elaborate.
So, Facebook, direct consumer ads. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole, but lots of direct consumer ads, different products, different rates, what we offer, what we can do, niche products, closing times, all stuff like that. Some of it's brand awareness. You might, if you pop on our Care Finance Group Facebook page, you might get a retargeting ad that's funny little commercials, 15-second, in video pop-ins. So we do some brand awareness and then some actual lead gen activity.
Okay.
Google is the same thing. AdWords, direct-to-consumer marketing, very specific things because the mortgage market is saturated with big spenders, as we saw yesterday at the Super Bowl with the Jason Momoa Quicken thing. By the way, just to digress on that really fast, I thought that ad was fantastic for us as mortgage people because I thought Jason Momoa and his acting and what he did took so much away from the fact that it was even a Quicken commercial.
Yeah, that's certainly a big part of it. I've kind of been hooked on the fact that when it comes to Quicken, things are not always as they seem.
Yeah, definitely. It spoke true to their brand for sure.
Yeah, there's a lot of and another one of our Fight Club group members, and we don't talk about Fight Club. If you go look at Stacy Stanley's Facebook feed, and Stacy's a loan originator in the Denver market. She's a brilliant woman and a good friend. We adore her. She put a Quicken meme up about something like bait and switch to that effect, and there was a lot of truth to it. So yeah, for those of you in our audience, go check out Stacy's stuff too, because Stacy's
She wins
yeah.
at memes. She's great at them.
Oh, super sharp. Yeah, and always highly entertaining. We love her feed.
And then consumer direct, more like events, community events, things like that. So our sphere. So reaching out to agents, databases, anyone who's in our business referral circle is our marketing sphere. So we'll put out ads, not ads. We'll put out events or information to anyone in our business sphere, their databases. So we're not just taking our database, but we're taking all of theirs. So we're getting 10 times the amount of reach. Community groups. So we'll do this year, we have plans, my event calendar is just stacked. I'm speaking at a business seminar 4 times this year. We're doing another business. I'm doing a huge speaking engagement in June to probably 400 business owners that'll pay to be there. It's called, I can't remember the name they came up with, Empower Happiness and Financial Well-Being. And that's local to our Sacramento market. And it's piggybacked with 2 other people in our business sphere. So they have a audience of probably 2 million people. They have a huge, huge audience. So one of the people that I'm doing the talk with gave a TED talk. So he has a giant audience. So we'll do stuff like that. So we have 11 financial well-being classes this year that we'll hold in our office. We have, and then we do like agent events. We did a cookie class for Christmas. Basically just inviting people to come. My friend does custom cookies and teaches a, custom cookie class and teaches everybody how to do that. And it's fun, it's engaging, and people love that. And then we get traffic into our office. People are here. And while people were here at Christmas time, of course, they want to know, hey, if I refinance, So I'm getting traffic into my office asking me mortgage questions that I wouldn't normally have in doing these events. So that's our event consumer direct marketing using our spheres.
All right, I'm going to digress for just a second because the question is plaguing me. Obviously, we've all seen the brokers are better advertisement that United Wholesale Mortgage put together in the brokersarebetter.com website. And I don't think it ran in the Denver market. Did you see it where you are?
No, it did not run in the Sacramento market.
Okay. Interesting. So it must have been unique to fairly big markets. Hopefully a lot of our colleagues and clients and influencers saw it. And obviously, we've branded it some. I'm pinging that back and forth with UWM now to see about running it. But I was curious as to whether or not it ran in your market being so close to San Francisco. Okay.
No, I guess they ran it in LA.
Yeah, I'm sure LA, New York, Chicago, Miami, Boston, obviously some of the big markets. But yeah, I knew that it was unique to markets, and obviously how that whole advertising platform works during the Super Bowl is.
I'm surprised they didn't choose the San Francisco area, considering the 49ers were in the Super Bowl.
Right. Yeah, I think the viewership was probably pretty high in San Francisco.
Huge. I mean, absolutely huge. So I was very surprised that we didn't see it. Very, very surprised. And you know what? It could have been a cost thing also. I bet because they ran it in select markets only, so I wonder if that market was paying at a very high price because of the viewership.
That could be. And I had that discussion actually with a client on the phone this morning. We figure at a minimum, knowing what we know about the cost of the airtime and what it would take to actually come up with that ad itself, that you're probably $10 million in for 30 seconds minimum. Yeah. So yeah, there's a lot of money involved in that particular process. All right, so let's go back. Tell me, where do you think this all breaks up? Where are you getting the most engagement, the most lead gen out of those 3 items that you were describing for us: Facebook, Google, and obviously running in your circle, past clients, client referrals, that sort of thing?
Google's ranking them at the bottom, and it's mostly because we're not putting a ton of effort into that right now. It's there at the moment as just a passive kind of thing. Right now, our sphere,
Okay.
hands down. That's where the most of it. That's where the most business is coming from.
All right. So I want you to stop there because I really want that to sink in with our audience. I would say that 80% of our business here at Core is repeat clients and client referrals. Okay. Now, certainly there's some, lead gen activity going on with real estate agents, divorce attorneys, financial planners, accountants, whatever. But I want to emphasize in the process of building a repeat and referral business, how important it is to make sure that repeat clients and client referrals really are the spine of that, the backbone of that. That's the crux of how you guys are eventually going to get to that repeat and referral model, that goal. Certainly the just the tips goal. I hope that's everybody's goal in mortgages, real estate, is to have a repeat and referral business, a strict repeat and referral business, and that you're not dropping $10 million for 30 seconds of, push button, get mortgage type of stuff. Just wanted to stop you there because obviously I want to make sure that that sinks in with our audience. Go ahead.
I mean, that's incredibly important. That's why we're focused on client experience this year. And I mean, every little piece of it, because that repeat and referral business is the most important piece of our business. Hands down, that's it. Repeat and referrals. And I mean, for anyone out there trying to build up a business, piggybacking on your business partners' databases gives you that extra reach.
Huge. Yeah.
I mean, it's been incredible for us, the amount of people that we can help from those spheres that we would have never, ever had any contact with. And now we're doing repeat referral business from those clients. And we've built strong relationships with our business partners as well. Because they're also seeing those co-branding. They're also seeing that marketing go out, and maybe they're not reaching out to their database enough. So we're helping with that. So it's definitely a building block that if you're just starting, or actually no matter where you are in the process, you should be doing that.
I think that that's true. And we obviously practice and preach growing your audience, growing your database. It's the first module in our coaching program is your contact database. You've got to have an audience. That's, primary, that's the primary goal. And for a lot of us, while there are assets, computers and furniture and those kinds of things, your contact database is still probably your primary asset for all of you watching. So treat it as such. No question. So what Lindsay's describing here is taking the opportunity to not necessarily just one at a time, 5 at a time. I taught a class to 20 people. There's 20 at a time adding to her contact database, but she's describing thousands at a time. She is able to tap into a referral partner's database, a referral partner's that relationship that she has, and that person might have 2, 4, 6, 10,000 people in their contact database that are now part of Lindsay's audience. So yeah, that's also very, very big. Lindsay, we're going to run out of time, and I knew that was going to be the case because you and I could probably do this for hours or days, and we will here in a couple of weeks. But in the interest of making sure that we're giving you credit where credit's due, give your audience that is watching this, I see Jen has tagged you up and down in this particular video.
Yes.
How do we find Lindsay?
Facebook is probably the easiest way, or our website, carefinancegroup.com.
Okay. And do you know your Facebook handle?
No. CarefinanceGroup.com. I don't know. I don't do my social media. I'll find it.
That's funny. Okay, Jen will find it and she'll post that information. And in the interest of
Search Lindsay Sills, and then it's all on my page.
And then just search for Lindsay Sills. Jen will find it, no problem. We'll post that up, and we'll have Jen put some other contact information up there as well. But Lindsay, again, we love having you as a guest on the show. We are always ecstatic that your abundance mindset enables you to share all this stuff with everybody. So thank you.
I didn't know where that last comment was going. thank you, Jen, for giving me ample time to wash my hair.
You're welcome.
Oh, no, that's funny. I didn't know it was ample time. All right, so for those of you watching, thank you so much for tuning in live or in syndication. If you want more information about the show, if you want to see previous episodes of the show, if you want to be a guest on the show, if you want to catch the weekly little tip, we do a live, or not a live, a weekly video blog, a 2-minute tip on more lead generation ideas. If you want a copy of my book, Just the Tips, any of this stuff, use that text code at the bottom of your screen. Text TIPS to 63566. Lindsay, don't go anywhere. I'm going to run our extra and we'll chat further. And the rest of you guys have an amazing week. And we'll see you next week.